Good day, and welcome to the SNN Network Summer Virtual Event. Our next presenting company is Vicinity Motor Corp. It is now my pleasure to turn the floor over to William Trainer, CEO, President, and Director of Vicinity Motor Corp. Sir, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, and thank everyone for joining in today. I'm very excited to share with you the VMC story. Some may know it, some may be new to it, but we are truly at an inflection point in our history. The Vicinity products is the right vehicle at the right time, and we're already in the market with an established brand, proven to deliver what customers want, product and service. We have green energy solutions with both CNG and EV. There is a significant demand for our EV solutions. Strong government funding is in place. We have 2 manufacturing paths. Contract manufacturing allow us to scale up quickly, and our new Washington State facility will start producing in 2022. Our strengths have led to a tremendous backlog, which allowed us to deliver $27 million in Q1 and $19 million here in Q2. We see a strong sales pipeline and order flow coming our way. We recently announced 26 new orders, and we see many more that are still in the path coming. We recently won statewide purchasing contracts in California, Washington, and New Mexico, and were awarded a 5-year contract from Calgary Transit for our Vicinity Lightning EV bus. We are experiencing unprecedented growth and momentum, and we'll talk about that more in detail as we progress into our presentation. Now, let's dive into why we've been so successful. Let's talk about the market to set the stage. Opportunity in the bus market over the next few years is incredible. The bus market we compete in sees annual sales of over 25,000 units. Our newest addition to our product line, the VMC 1200 truck, sees over 400,000 annual sales. Electric vehicles are in high demand, and we see a lot of interest and are in discussion with a large number of cities and agencies across North America. We're well positioned to capture a great deal of the market. Now let's dive into where this demand is coming from. Government EV adoption. Government funding is driving the demand, and we're clearly in unprecedented times. The pandemic has opened up government funding at levels we've never seen before. Billions and trillions of dollars have been released for infrastructure funding. Billions are targeted towards greener transportation. And again, we have the right product at the perfect timing. We'll capture a great deal of these sales opportunities. Now let's see our products. We have a great range of products to meet various applications and requirements. We're still seeing some diesel and CNG orders coming through, but the world is turning towards electric vehicles, and we're in a great position to supply clean diesel products while the transition is taking place. Our products are purpose-built for industry demand. With our core products and established brands, our customers trust we can deliver and service our new products. Now let's jump into our EV mix. Our future is electric vehicles. We've developed EV vehicles that just make sense. We currently offer our 28-foot electric Lightning low-floor bus, and we've recently added our VMC 1200 cab-over truck. Both are extremely well designed with industry-leading technologies. The components were selected from major industry leaders like BMW and Dan Foss, and I'll get into more details as we go forward. Our company was founded in 2008. Our flagship product really launched in 2014. And since 2014, we put over 500 units in service, and we've dominated the mid-size bus market here in Canada. We've got our sights on the U.S. market now, and all of our product is purpose-built, and it's a winner. It delivers lower operating costs, higher fuel savings, while delivering a superior comfort and ride. We have a track record for building reliable vehicles. The famed Altoona test is performed by the U.S. Federal Transportation Authority, and it is required for all federally funded transit buses. Our Vicinity tested best in class, and this is a testament of our product reliability. Customers rely on these test results, the federal government relies on these test results, and we're very proud of what we've achieved with our Altoona testing with best in class. Our Vicinity buses are purpose-built and vastly superior products. We offer confidence, durability, with ease of use, which are all easy to maintain with lower operating costs. Now let's just dive in and talk about what the future really is. You know, our future is really in the electric vehicle, and our electric Lightning, this is where I really get excited. Our Vicinity Electric Lightning was designed more along the automotive platform. We custom designed our power distribution unit to accommodate automotive technology components. Why? Because the automotive industry needs high volume, high quality, low cost parts to stay competitive. An automotive giant sets the sights at a minimum of producing 1 million cars in one model or more. This gears up the auto supply chain to produce high volume components at very competitive pricing. Following this model, it allowed VMC to produce our Vicinity Lightning with a go-to-market price of approximately $350,000 US, utilizing high-quality automotive components, and that's really the key to keep the price in line. Our competition went with higher-priced, low-volume commercial components, and they're offering their buses at around $600,000 to $700,000. So we're very well priced and expect to dominate this market with a vastly superior product. Now let's talk about what makes it better. It's all in the design. Our Vicinity has BMW batteries that operate at 400 volts, and they're only 7 inches tall. And this allowed our engineers to install them and engineer them to go into the low floor section of the bus. So much like a skateboard, it achieves a very low center of gravity, and this really gives you a lot better handling and drivability in the vehicle. When we look at our competitors, they've utilized commercial battery packs. The commercial battery packs operate at about 600 to 800 volts, and they average 12 to 14 inches in thickness. So this didn't allow them to actually embed batteries into the low floor, and they had to look around at where they're going to put the batteries, and they install their batteries on the roof. It makes for a very top-heavy design that doesn't handle or drive great. And charging. We follow the automotive industry and utilize the 400-volt standard, and this allows us to have a built-in charger and sell our bus with an electrical cord, much like you'd buy if you're buying a Tesla car. And it can be charged with a 240-volt single-phase outlet, and this is really key. So with that, if you look at the North American grid, your homes, your industries, most of them are all running on 240-volt single-phase power. So we wanted to utilize exactly what the automotive industry does and utilize that 240-volt single-phase power. So we put on an onboard charger. And this allows the vehicle to charge overnight, and it's a very easy use of charging. You can imagine a plug that's very similar to your electric stove or your big air conditionings that are running. They all run at 240 volts, and that's what we wanted to stay with. Our competitors, they design their buses with 600 to 800 volt technology, and most of that requires 3-phase power to charge, and that's not readily available. You know, you usually only find that in industrial parks. So to bring in 3-phase power to charge your vehicles is very expensive. Most transit agencies, when they're buying a bus, they usually budget about $500,000 per bus for the initial cost to put the infrastructure in to bring in that power grid to actually charge the vehicle. So we designed our bus to be very user-friendly and charge overnight. We designed it we also took a look at what was going to make our vehicle very easy to use to the customer base that's going to be buying it. If you look at the customer base that we're going after in the U.S., we have about 50% private and 50% public operators. So we wanted to be able to really target both of that customer base. So we looked at who's driving the vehicle, what's going to make it very easy to drive the vehicle. So we followed what the school bus industry does, and they use hydraulic brakes on their big vehicles. And the reason they use that is that any driver can drive it. You don't need a commercial air brake ticket to actually drive the vehicle. So again, if we're looking at some of those private operators, they can purchase the vehicle, charge it at their standard location, and have any driver drive the vehicle. And the price point. So if you look at the price point, our price point of bringing this vehicle to life and using the automotive type components, we were able to bring our vehicle to market at around $350,000 US dollars. If you compare that to a standard diesel bus, you're looking at about $250,000. So for $100,000 more, you can buy a 100% electric Vicinity bus. Given that you've got a 7 or 8 year life expectancy on it, your total ownership is a lot cheaper buying an EV bus. And this is where I say it makes business sense. So I think our vehicle is the only one that you could really draw up a business case and make business case to actually buy it. Now, a lot of the transit operators, price is not that important because there's a lot of funding in place. But on the private operators, there's not very much out there for funding. I can also add that when we're looking at our EV bus, the margins on the EV bus is much, much greater than when we're building standard diesel buses. So our future is with the electric bus, and I think we've got something that's come to market that really, really makes perfect sense. And I think will dominate the market. Now, what we've recently added to our electric vehicle lineup here is an electric truck. This truck is, we call it the VMC 1200 because it has a 12,000-pound GVW, which is gross vehicle weight rating. The vehicle itself weighs 6,000 pounds with a standard box on the back, so it can carry 6,000 pounds of payload. On an overnight charge, it can achieve 150 miles. We wanted to bring this thing to life because we could utilize a lot of the same components and a lot of the same power distribution, a lot of the same electrical design that we've designed for our electric vehicle to add in the electric truck. And we also chose the market very carefully. We wanted to come into this Class 3 to Class 5 market, penetrate the market, because there really isn't that much competition in that market today. That market generally is dominated, if you look at the cab overs, by Isuzu and Hino, and they don't offer an electric vehicle. So again, we're first in class. We've got a lot of interest in this vehicle. The market, it got over 400,000 annual sales in the Class 3 to 5 market. This first vehicle comes out with a Class 3. We'll be adding a Class 5 vehicle sometime next year as well. And again, I think it makes perfect sense. The vehicle, we've got a lot of interest in it. A lot of the same customer base fits into it. When we're selling our buses into the municipals and municipalities, states and cities, a lot of them run the vehicles as well. So we have a customer base that knows us already, and we're introducing the product to a lot of those same customers. Now, so where are we going to build all these electric vehicles? We're putting a factory down in Washington State. We just had a groundbreaking ceremony down there about 2-3 weeks ago with Governor Jay Inslee. He's very excited about having this EV manufacturing plant come into Washington State. And we're very excited because we have some state contracts in Washington as well that we're looking for support from the state to purchase our vehicles since we have the manufacturing facility in that state as well. But the manufacturing facility, we've had a groundbreaking. We expect the building to actually be up and completed structurally by the end of this year, and then we'll just outfit it through Q1 and Q2 next year to get into production. So we're at a very early stage of organic growth strategy. We've got all of the pieces in place for an expansion. We've expanded our U.S. Dealer network in the U.S. We've aligned ourselves with a very strong group, the ABC group of companies. They're nationwide. They have a very great presence and a very strong support system in place. And we're building to capture this growth, and we're well positioned for the growth. On our financials, we just recently released our Q2 numbers. Our Q1 numbers, we did approximately 67 deliveries. Q2, we did about 46 deliveries. We're running in, I think, around 47 million in revenue for the first 2 quarters. And we accelerated all the warrants. So we have a very, very clean balance sheet right now. We're debt-free and cash flow positive. And I don't think very many EV companies can actually state that. We've also just recently commenced trading on the NASDAQ under the symbol VEV. So we're well positioned in the U.S. We have a very strong management team and an active board, which again works well for our projected growth that we have. So our key takeaways. You know, we are an established brand. We have sales in the U.S. and in Canada. We run a very capital-light model. We're really positioned well for capturing a lot of the government incentives that are in place. We have a great Vicinity Lightning EV that's going to capture a great deal of the market. I think we'll dominate the market share for that mid-sized market in the U.S. with that vehicle. We've launched our VMC 1200 truck, which has a market capacity of over 400,000 vehicles sold annually, and we're really first in class with that electric cab over vehicle. So with that, I'm going to open it up now to questions and answers. Thank you. So first question I see, will Vicinity Motors also eventually pursue incorporating new technology? Yes, we're always looking at new technology that's available out there. We want to be on the cutting edge of technology. That X-Row technology that's being talked about with the coil driver, we'll be testing that technology out later this year, and we really think it's going to add us and make us best in class, because if it achieves what we want, it'll add another 10 to 20% more drive distance onto with the same configuration that we have. Okay, is the annual trade still scheduled to occur in September? Yes. So we have, actually it's not September, it's in November, and I think you're talking about the APTA show. The APTA show comes along every 3 to 4 years. We have some very big presence in there. We'll be introducing all of our electric vehicles at the APTA show, and it is currently scheduled for early November. So next question is in regards to the global supply chain. Has it affected us to date? So what we try to do is really have 2 suppliers on most of our main components. The global supply chain, I'd be lying if I say it hasn't affected us. We have 30 Vicinity Lightnings in production right now, and it has delayed some of the components coming in on a timely manner. Not to that great a degree. It probably delayed us a couple of months, but on the first deliveries of the vehicles we have, but the suppliers are saying that should catch up before the end of the year. Are there any updates on year-end financial production updates and anything similar for 2022? You know, we haven't really come out and give full guidance as of yet. You know, the guidance that we have give is that we would deliver, you know, a minimum of 150 units this year. I think we're still pretty much on target for that. You know, we've delivered, I think, you know, over 100 to date. So we still got a considerable backlog. Our backlog is growing. And, you know, we'll news release all of our orders as we get firm purchase orders from them. But I can say that we have a lot of activity right now on a lot of tenders and a lot of activity out for all of our vehicles right across North America. As I stated earlier, you know, the infrastructure funding that's come in, I really expect this is going to be a tremendous couple of years coming forward here for the EV business based on the funding levels that are coming out on you know, both the Canadian and the U.S. Governments. You know, and we're very pleased to see you know, the very push into the electrifying a lot of these fleets and having the funding available for the transit authorities to electrify. What is expected on your near medium-term capital use of the shelf? Well, we filed the shelf perspective to allow us to raise capital when and if required. Right now, we don't require the capital. If you take a look at our balance sheet, we're in a very strong position right now. So, you know, we'll take a look at that as we go forward. Next question, I see you filed 150, same thing, short form perspectives. Would you execute? Yeah, you know, we'll just have to stay tuned on, you know, what we do. And, you know, part of filing on the NASDAQ, we had to put in what we wanted to put down for a capital requirements going forward, if any at all. So we filed for the 150 million, but that could be drawn down or used as we require. But we'd have to go out and do a capital raise, and we're not in a capital raise mode right now. Good afternoon. What are your initial thoughts on the application of being to integrate onboard charging right into your partner's coilover? Yeah, you know, there is a lot of technology out there. This XRO technology, you know, we will be looking at it. What this gentleman's talking about is that with their coilover inverter, you can remove a couple of major components from your vehicle. You do not need an onboard charger, or you don't need to buy the inverter. So it sounds like great technology. We can't wait to take a look at it and test it. Okay, you mentioned expect to dominate the market. Have you had an estimate of the market size of bus market in North America and globally? Yeah, so we've put out that in the market segment on the bus market, there's about 25,000 buses sold per year. In the market, the small market or the mid-sized market that we want to dominate in, that's the market. So we do expect to get a great deal of that. You know, our factory down in Washington State can produce over 1,000 vehicles per year. We want to ramp up and get that thing to full production as quickly as possible. And how are we going to do that? Well, if you look at these state contracts that we announced, you know, announcing the state contract, the California state contract, the state contracts, the way they work is you qualify as a bidder or as a supplier. And the California one alone, they're anticipating over 8,000 vehicles over a 5-year period. So I think we're well positioned for that. As I've stated, our vehicle's well priced. We got great margins on it ourselves, even though we have you know, a better competitive price on it. But I do expect a lot of sales in that market. Washington, you know, having a factory down in Washington State, I fully expect to get some support from the state themselves, and we're on that state contract there. So you'll just have to wait and see. You know, we don't news release potential. We news release firm purchase orders. So that's what we'll be putting out in the future. Okay, do I see any other questions and answers? No, I think that wraps it up. Well, I thank you all for joining in today. If you need any other questions answered or anything that comes up, just reach out to either our firm, the MZ Group, which is VMC at mcgroup.us, or you can reach out direct on our website at vicinitymotorcorp.com. I thank you all for joining in today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude the Vicinity Motor Corp presentation. Thank you again for joining us. You may now disconnect.